Coming up on Currently, the YMCA is expanding and Beth Milligan brings us the latest in a retail and restaurant roundup. Plus, Nick Loud joins us to talk about the upcoming Frankfort Film Festival. That's all ahead on Currently. Welcome to Currently, where we discuss some of the top local stories directly from the journalists who are covering them. I'm your host, Crystal Frost. Now, this podcast was recorded on Thursday, October 9th. The Tigers tied it up with the Mariners 2-2, forcing a Game 5 tomorrow at T-Mobile Park in Seattle. It's happening. Support for Currently comes from West Shore Bank. When you choose West Shore Bank, you're not just choosing a bank, you're choosing a partner that's committed to the well-being of our community. Visit them today on 8th Street or at westshorebank.com. Support also comes from the Old Town Playhouse, where community comes together in downtown Traverse City. Find out all about upcoming shows, including the Rocky Horror Show, at oldtownplayhouse.com. And from the Coin Slot Arcade Bar in Traverse City, a chill hangout boasting a variety of beer, live music, and pinball in downtown Traverse City. Welcome to Beth Milligan, head writer for the Traverse City Ticker. Well, my friend.
Hello.
Another week.
Another week.
And, you know, we just keep getting younger. I don't know what's happening.
Is that what's happening? Oh, someone should have told my body.
Someone should have told my body.
But the Tigers are still around, and that's what counts. I'm very excited. Yeah.
That's exactly it. We have our friend Nick Loud is back from the Boardman Review. Welcome back, Nick.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm doing well. I love seeing this new set.
Yes,
you have.
I know you were
I was in the.
You were in the early days.
Yeah.
In the early days with
really
the brick
up
set,
in the world. Yeah.
And now we have this mid-century modern clean lines. I just keep touching them.
No, it's fair.
Love it. Nick, you're here obviously as a friend of the show. You're a journalist. You're one of the founders of the Boardman Review. You're going to talk about the Frankfort Film Festival, and that's another hat that you wear. You know, I feel like especially creatives in our area wear a lot of hats. Is that true?
I think that's very true. And actually, I feel like we encounter that a lot with the Boardman Review. Everyone has that extra layer or skill or, 4 jobs.
4 jobs.
And so along with the Boardman Review, I recently came on as the communications director for the Garden Theater in Frankfort. And the Garden Theater is putting on the Frankfort Film Festival.
The 17th year.
That's correct.
Of the Frankfort Film Festival.
I know. From an outsider's perspective, I was like, wow, that's kind of underappreciated in a way of how long it's been going on in this region.
I mean, the Garden is such a beautiful old theater. And I mean, I was telling you off camera that we were, that's kind of, I call it my home theater. I grew up in Benzie County. That's where we went to see a lot of movies. I was from Beulah, but it's a stone's throw away from Frankfort. Yeah, that's all, Benzie County is just a close-knit community. And to see it revitalized the way it has been is just fantastic.
Definitely. I think, we have a number of small town theaters in the area, but it's not a given that they've, lasted, that they've survived. Your partners did a whole documentary about, called Marquee Town, about how, small town, local theaters, how they've gone through some hard times over the last couple decades. And so to see the Garden Theater in Frankfort, not only survive but really thrive with that community support, and I think it's a large part of it is due to that community and it being like a new model for a theater where it's not only just it's films, it's classic films, new films, but it's music, it's community events, dance, and this film festival. And so it's kind of diversifying what you're offering to the community and really become that hub.
Yeah, I should do a plug for marqueetown.com because it's a fantastic film. I think you can still see it on PBS, on the PBS app. But one of the things that I think about with these community theaters, and Beth, you can speak to this being a part of the Bay Theater, they're more than just the movie theater in town, right? They are like sort of an immersive, intrinsic piece of the town. Their, marquees are a part of the downtown imagery, and when they go away or when they're shut, maybe when they're unplugged, shut off, you notice it. It changes the whole landscape of downtown. They do things that bring the community together. I recently saw the Bay Theater present for Impact 100, and it was like goosebumps because their whole conversation was about, it's, yeah, sure, we do show movies, we do show films, but it's really about being that community focus, that community center for people.
Well, and I think, I'm on the board at the Bay, but I think what the Garden is doing is very similar to what other theaters doing. Like, yes, community anchors, but also like a diversity of community programming. I'm sure Nick could speak to that, but it's, there's this great film festival, and I'm looking at the films that are coming up, and we can give Nick a chance to talk about some of those because it looks like a great lineup. But also, in addition to films, and I've been to these events at the Garden. I've been to gala fundraisers. I've been to concerts.
New Year's Eve is always a blast.
Science films, like all different kinds of programming, which the Bay is doing too. And I think a lot of these theaters, the ones that are sticking around and surviving, are becoming more diverse in their programming, but still like the backbone of the community to come for all kinds of events.
Yeah, and I think the more and more I'm learning about how the programming is done at the Garden Theater, it's really about listening to the community to kind of inform what to bring in, whether those are music acts that are local or maybe bringing in people from Nashville or LA or something like that. It's kind of that mixture of really gearing towards the community and being that kind of local focus, but also, having that exposure, bringing in talent or acts from all around.
Yeah, it's just a really cool theater too. Can we just say that?
I love it. It's a beautiful theater.
It's 1923, I think is when it was built.
And it's been really cool to see some of the old photos, and there's like old paintings and old photos of like the marquee and kind of how it's changed kind of from its original form, and then it kind of went through some iterations, and now it's kind of being brought back to a little bit closer to its original form. And credit to them, to the Garden Theater. They've done an amazing job at refreshing the front, painting it, kind of really adding to the marquee and the interior as well. And so it is pretty cool to see.
Yeah, even just going to gardentheater.org, you see sort of this slideshow where, you see the beautiful historic marquee, and then you see, like a band that's performing, or you see someone who's giving a talk, maybe after watching a film, or you see a dance being performed. Again, it's such a diverse group of arts, really, that are celebrated in this theater.
Yeah, and I think a lot of credit goes to Katie Jones, who's the executive director, who's been there for a handful of years now, and has really kind of embraced that idea of diversifying the programming, but still staying to its roots of being, hosting a film festival and showing first run new films, but having classic films, every month. And so it's from, kind of me being in it for about a few months now, it's been really cool to be able to kind of get that exposure and kind of what that inner thinking is.
I'm looking at the lineup for the Frankfort Film Festival, and that kicks off on October 15th through the 19th, right? Tell us a little bit about the programming, how the films were chosen, and really like what people can expect when they're buying tickets.
Yeah, so it'll be next week, 15th through the 19th, and the 15th actually is a opening night event, which is a trailer viewing party, which I'm really excited for this. Basically, they'll show the trailers for all the 14 films that'll be in the festival, and there's little intros from staff and board and sponsors, but also volunteers of kind of why they're excited for that particular film, and then you watch the trailer. And then Thursday through Sunday is kind of the regular programming for the rest of the films. And a lot of the films are chosen by Katie and a committee, a film committee, film festival committee, and a lot kind of goes into the choices. But a big part of it is that they're all either Film Festival Award winners or nominees.
Okay.
And so all these narrative features and documentaries have been in some film festival nominated or won an award. So this is really like a, kind of a hand-picked best of the best. And so it's kind of cool to be able to, again, kind of that idea of bringing in kind of that, storytelling to Frankfort is what we're pretty excited for.
And for the closing night on Sunday, October 19th, there's a film that is showing that has some Northern Michigan roots and actually some Nick Loud and Chris Loud roots.
I know. I wasn't sure if Nick was going to plug it or not because he's very humble and he's involved as a producer. But I was going to plug it if not because the film is Sunfish. Folks they just had a fantastic sold out screening at the State Theater. Yep. It was at Sundance. It got tons of great national press, really great reviews. I've seen it. It's beautiful. And you can talk a little bit more about it, but I know shot here locally. You can see a lot of scenes of Interlaken and the community involvement. And this is, Sundance is a huge festival to get into. So to have this collection of stories from our area make it that far and then have the chance to see it with the local filmmakers is incredible.
Yeah. So that is something you're doing, I'm sure.
That is correct. Thanks, Beth, for bringing that up. Yeah.
I'll tee up.
I figure we get there eventually, but I'm really excited for Sunfish to close out the festival. I think it'll be kind of the perfect cap to the weekend. But it was a co-producer on the project, and we shot it, as Beth said, Interlaken, some Leelanau County, some Traverse City kind of locations, but mainly kind of in the Interlaken, Benzie kind of area. So I think it'll be a perfect fit for the festival. And we had that sold out screening at the State Theater. So there's been a lot of buzz for it locally, which is great to see. And so this is kind of that next opportunity for people who couldn't go to the State Theater to see this screening.
Forgive my naivete because I really don't sometimes understand what a producer does. What does a producer do? I'm like, you produce.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
It's like everything, kind of.
It's kind of everything, right?
Yeah. It's a bit of everything. And I would say specifically for this film, I helped out with location scouting, with finding cast and crew that were mainly local cast and crew because we were bringing in some, but we kind of wanted to have a mixture of both kind of, national and local cast and crew. And so that was kind of a big part. And also just being a liaison for kind of the filmmaking team and then kind of some of our more local entities.
Right, yeah. Very important job.
Very important job. Yeah. And then in post-production, offering notes on the film, we saw some rough cuts and kind of offer some feedback on that and some guidance with festivals and some distribution.
That's very cool. The lineup looks fantastic. Mm-hmm. As you said, starting out with the opening party and, the trailer viewing party, but tickets are available for that. Which are all of this is very reasonable as well. You can buy an admission ahead of time for the opening night, view the trailer viewing, and also, there's hors d'oeuvres and some drinks and things like that. It's like $27.
Yeah, it'll be like a opening night kind of event party that I think is really just geared towards bringing people in, exposing them to what they're going to see over the next couple of days. But also just offering that opportunity to really just celebrate the festival and the theater itself. And
all of these films are going to be shown at the Garden Theater,
correct.
Right? So this is not a situation where you have to kind of go all around town or something like that. It's all there. And you can buy a pass if you want. You can get a pass for the whole festival. It gets you into all of the films, all 15 films. It gets you into the viewing party. You actually get your name on the screen, which is cool.
That's correct.
And on the website. So kind of love that.
I love that it's all in one location. But it's right downtown. Yeah. And so you can, in between screenings, you could go over to Storm Cloud Brewing. You can go to other restaurants in the area. You go to the beach. Yeah. It's 2 blocks from the beach.
Yeah,
and so
such a good location.
It's a great location. Another film, speaking of Sundance, that I'm excited about is Sorry Baby.
I've heard great things about that.
I've heard such good things about that. Yeah.
And that premiered at Sundance, and I went to that screening, and it was a great reception, standing ovation for it's a writer, director, lead actor, and Ava Victor. And it's a great film. And I think that's a really good example of something that did really well at Sundance and is also being brought here.
And there's a film for everyone here. So if you maybe you don't want to purchase the whole week, weekend, or I should say the 16th through the 19th is when more films are going to be shown. The opening party's on the 15th. And maybe you're like, I can't do all of the days. You can purchase individual tickets for this. There's definitely something for everyone. So it's really well done as far as choosing the films. And yeah, I was one of those, I had to see The Life of Chuck. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
It was really good. That's a Friday night movie at 8:00, something.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one.
You know, you definitely don't necessarily think that you're going to get from Steven Spielberg, but there it is. I love it.
I love that there's also like a movie trivia at Dingy's with Garden Theater prizes on Thursday and Friday nights. And then, of course, we should give a plug to the Frankfort 48, which is the film contest that they do, I think, right earlier in the summer. And then they're showing the winners during the festival.
Yeah. So the Frankfurt 48 is a 48-hour film festival, film competition, and you get a prompt, and you have 48 hours to go out, film,
that's cool.
Edit, deliver it, and then they show all of them at the Garden Theater, and they pick the winners. And so from that, the top 3 winners are being played on the Saturday, October 18th.
There's not a lot of time to
No.
get it perfect, right?
Yeah.
48
you can't
hours.
be too precious about some of your decisions. But it's a really popular film contest. It very much feels like a true community event.
Yeah.
You see it's a lot of younger people who do the competition. So that's really cool to see. A lot of families are there. And it's a lot of like filming, in Benzie, Beulah, Frankfurt. So you get see a lot of like local scenes.
Those local scenes. I love that. Well, it's fantastic. So if people want to find out more about it, if you go to gardentheater.org, you can look right, for the Frankfort Film Festival 2025. You can click on that. You can actually, the best thing to do is put it in your search engine, just Garden Theater Frankfurt Film Festival 2025. It'll take you right there. Yep. You can buy your tickets. I'm super excited about the trailer, and you're going to be there for some of those nights. So excited that you're going to be there too.
Yeah. I know
the new communications director.
It'll be fun to be able to be there in that capacity. I'm excited to be there as a viewer, but then to also be there as the communications director and be able to be kind of see the people who are coming in, see the community that are coming in. That part of it, I'm really excited for.
That is fantastic. Well, when we come back, we're going to get right into the news. Beth Milligan takes over. Take the wheel, Beth. Like the Carrie Underwood song says.
Me and Jesus.
And we'll be talking about some good stuff. And of course, Nick you're going to join us for this. We'll be talking more news. But first, we're going to have a word for one of our sponsors. And that sponsor is Pancake Boy Productions. Now, if you enjoy listening to and watching currently, you've already heard and seen the work of Pancake Boy Productions because they're the ones who produce this show. From the podcast studio to the final edit, Pancake Boy makes sure everything looks and sounds clear, polished, and ready for the audience. And here's the thing. They can do the same thing for you. Whether you're a business that wants to connect with your customers, a nonprofit looking to tell your story, or just someone with an idea that deserves to be heard, Pancake Boy Productions can bring your podcast to life. They'll handle everything from production and editing to uploading and promotion, so you can focus on the conversation itself. They're based right here in Traverse City, working with local voices and local stories every day. If you're ready to launch a podcast, visit pancakeboy.biz. And welcome back. Beth, one of your stories in the ticker this week was all about the YMCA expanding. So, first of all, I learned so much about the YMCA from this story.
Yeah.
Number one, it is already a huge success. 16,000 members.
Yeah. That was more than I knew.
Yeah, 16,000 members.
Yeah.
That's an incredible amount. So tell us about the expansion, what that means, and where is it happening?
Yeah. So, I'm sure, folks know probably the main west campus of the Y is out on Silver Lake Road. They also have the South Y, which is on Racket Drive, off of South Airport. And then, of course, they have a contract with the county to have a location at the Civic Center. But the west campus is their main campus. As you mentioned, already pretty large campus already. 16,000 members, plus they have about 7,000 more who come through the facility annually. That can be for everything from, swim lessons to youth basketball, people coming on guest passes.
Guest passes, baby.
So we're talking about 23,000 people a year coming through that facility. They have over 100 middle schoolers every day coming. They have, West Middle School is right there. A lot of kids walk over after school and hang out at the Y. They have a lot of seniors. We have a very rapidly growing retirement community, and a lot of people go to the Y for both exercise and socializing. So that's their fastest growing demographic. So all of that has kind of put them at a capacity. So they have two major expansion projects on the horizon, and they were in front of Garfield Township's Planning Commission this week to talk about the first one. Which is a $12.5 million building addition. It will be going right off the existing building outward. They are going to be in that building building 2 gymnasiums with full-size basketball courts and bleachers. Right now, they don't really have proper gymnasiums at the Y. They have 2 converted tennis courts that are serving as the basketball area, but that's not a real gymnasium with like the hardwood floors and bleachers. The new courts will have an elevated walking track that will have separate lanes for walking, jogging, and running.
Oh, that's cool.
And that goes around the court, so you can kind of see what's going on down in the courts as you're doing your walking or jogging. A major need at the Y is their child watch space.
Yes.
So a huge perk of membership is that they offer free childcare when people come to work out at the Y. So you can drop your kids off in the child watch area. They have more than 1,500 kids coming through that every month. So they are growing that space, and they are going to be more than tripling that space with the expansion. They also have community partnerships, for example, with Mary Free Bed. They do physical therapy there at the Y for their clients. They will be having expanded room for that. So a lot happening there, plus just their fitness facilities in general, their wellness areas where you go to do your cardio or your weights. Those are all kind of maxed out. Those will be expanding classrooms for the kids who are coming from the middle school. And then also the parking. They're going to be adding about 120 new parking spots in addition to the 345 they already have there. So the township talked about it this week. There weren't a lot of issues with their application. There didn't seem to be, they were well prepared. So they will have a public hearing on that on November 12th. And assuming they get township approval, they'll be all set to go. They've already raised about $7.5 million of the $12.5 million.
Wow.
In sort of a private phase of fundraising. They're kind of going public now. Their goal is to get to about 65 to 70% of their fundraising by the end of this year. That will give them kind of the financial stability to break ground in the spring. They'll probably continue to fundraise until they hit their goal, but they'll be ready to move ahead. And then that project will be going for 12 to 14 months with a late spring 2027 opening.
So you said, already they have, 16,000 members. They want to double that. Right?
Essentially, yeah. So their capacity, they're thinking, I talked to Andrew Page, who is the CEO over at the Y, and he mentioned that right now we talked about the combined members and community visitors is about 23,000. The capacity will go up to about 35,000.
That's fantastic. If they can get to that point, and I was doing some quick, I was on my little typing machine,
your answer
here.
Machine.
And I was finding out in the 5-county area, there's about 160,000 people.
Yeah.
To get 30,000 people to be members, that's huge.
Yeah. And again, also, even non-members use that facility a lot. And I think what will be helpful when I talked to Andy, one of the things that he said was, we're not just getting big to get big.
Right.
This isn't a flex. Like, we're not just trying to be like, look at us. He's like, there is a huge community demand here. And he's like, we're uniquely positioned to meet that demand. And so they actually feel like they have a responsibility to the community to invest in these services. One of the things that we've covered in the ticker a lot is, of course, in addition to the childcare, which is a huge element, the YMCA has also just this week opened a new child development center at Kensington Church. They had some drama moving around for a little bit, but they have a new home. So they're doing that in addition to their other locations. But the summer camp is another big child care option for parents. That used to be like trying to get Taylor Swift tickets to get into summer camp at the Y. You'd see folks lining up at like 3 a.m. and it's a whole thing. They're getting a little bit better with their registration processes. But this expansion, in addition to they have camp right now at the TCAPS Montessori School and at the South Y, eventually the West Y could serve as a third camp location to expand that as well.
Both my boys were Y kids, Y camp kids, and it was a wonderful experience. And I remember when I would pick them up. And the thing about going to the Y camp, especially when you were at the South Y, was you spent most of the day outside. And like, hey, if it rains a little bit, get a rain jacket, you know, that kind of thing. And I loved that as a parent because I was like, yeah, kid, it's summertime. Yeah. You know, you can be outside in the rain. Tough it up, you know. I just remember picking them up and they would be absolutely exhausted, which again, as a parent, you're like, yeah, good. Now go to bed.
Yeah. You're like, that's all I want. Well, and I think what was interesting looking at their plans for the West Y, I mean, in addition to this building addition, once that addition is complete, the next future phase of growth that they're already thinking about now is the addition of a field house to the property. So that would be, if folks aren't familiar with that term, it's essentially a year-round indoor sports complex, which we've had a lot of stories in the ticker about something being needed for that in Traverse City. TCAPS is working on its own over by East Middle School that could host district tournaments and events in addition to community ones. But this field house at the Y would be about the size of an indoor soccer field, turf where people can come and practice and use that year round. Yeah. That's probably a $7 to $8 million project that'll be a little bit down the road, but they do have that on the horizon. And then they eventually, it sounds like we'll be consolidating more of these services at the West location and getting out of their lease at the South Y. They have invested in that. They have like their pickleball courts over there. So they won't be doing that immediately. But in the coming years, they do have a plan. They have a lease for that space over there and to eventually kind of migrate more back to the West.
I mean, as you said, though, they're not getting bigger just to get bigger. They're looking at community needs and trying to meet the community needs.
Yeah, that seems to be what's driving the project.
Good to know. Well, if you want to find out more about that and read the entire story, all you have to do is go to traverseticker.com. We're going to move on to a story that came out this morning, right? So this is your retail restaurant roundup. You get to do these every couple of weeks.
These are my favorites.
These are one of my favorites to write. I
wake up early to read this.
Well, tell me all about what's happening with the retail restaurant roundup. I mean, people want to know.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's always a lot in these. This is why we do these as roundups and not individual stories, because there's just so much news happening in the community. The lead story from the roundup today is about a new restaurant which will be coming into the Mammoth distilling space in the warehouse district. Mammoth is still there and still open for a few weeks.
Sure.
But we had previously announced in the ticker that they are moving into a new tasting room on Front Street. They will be right next to Nolan's.
Yep.
Over by the coin slot. So they're preparing to open that new tasting room, wrapping up their time at the warehouse. When they move out, they are hoping to maybe be open by the end of October, early November. This new restaurant, The Three Pigs, will be moving into the old Mammoth space at the warehouse district. And folks may not have heard this name, The Three Pigs. I think this is one of the first stories we're doing about it. But Chad has the owner of this restaurant has run the Heart and Soul food truck, which is a Korean food truck out by Earth and Nails at the Commons.
Oh, delicious.
A lot of people love that food truck. It's very popular. He has actually spent years in Korea. He attended university in Korea. He taught there. He's cooked there. He really loves the Korean culture, which is what he started with the food truck. And when I spoke to him, he had mentioned his plan all along was to open a restaurant. But as we're seeing with a lot of food trucks in Traverse City, it's kind of a pipeline to getting into a brick and mortar. It's a lower entry cost to get into the market, to test your food out, build a customer base.
Following,
I mean, Nick and I are friends with the folks at Glendale. We've seen lots of folks do this successfully. And so he got his supplier relationships, everything kind of buttoned up. And then the Three Pigs will be expanding this kind of Korean food experience. So if any folks have been to Korean barbecue, this is the concept of the Three Pigs. Now, traditionally, he did acknowledge this is a little new for Traverse City. Yeah. So he's going to ease Traverse City into it a little bit, which I think is probably smart. Traditionally, when you go to Korean barbecue, you have a tabletop grill at your table. You have meats in front of you, and you as a customer cook the meats yourself.
Right.
You've got all kinds of marinades and sauces and
I don't
garnishes.
trust myself, though.
Well, and maybe rightly so, unless you get the hang of it a little bit.
Just be like, put it all on there and be like, I don't know what to do.
So you would normally, it's meant to be a very communal experience. Right. You're hanging out with your friends, you're all grilling together. To start, they are going to grill the meat in the back of the house. The restaurant will cook it for you.
Yeah.
They'll bring the whole grill setup out to your table. So you'll still get that experience with all the garnishes and the sides and the dipping sauce, which is a very fun part of the Korean barbecue experience. And then eventually, once customers get the hang of it, he said, we'll transition into letting them cook their own meat. But we're going to do it for them to start.
That's really smart.
It's a choose your own adventure, but it could get dicey, I'm sure, at some point.
Yeah. And kind of continuing the Korean theme of the restaurant, some kind of staples of Korean culture. The back room where Mammoth has a private event space now will be converted into karaoke rooms, which are huge.
Bury the lead. You're telling me there's going to be karaoke rooms?
And they'll have a photo booth in the front, which is also huge in South Korea. Just photo booths everywhere. It's a big part of the culture there. So he said, ideally you come with your friends, you can do the whole thing. You can have karaoke, the Korean barbecue, which will have also Korean beers and spirits, like soju. And then get a picture in the photo booth and have a kind of a whole night.
Sing some songs. I love it. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah. So, and he's really familiar with, in addition to living in Korea, he told me he has been to over 40 countries and has gone to Korean barbecue in every one of those countries. Wow. He said he just really loves it. It's his favorite restaurant experience, and he's really excited to bring it to Traverse City.
So when is this going to happen?
So when he takes over the space in November, they will be doing renovations for a few months. They're going to keep some of the things. He really liked the feel of Mammoth, but they'll be adapting it for their own style. They're going to have cool Korean art on the wall and things like that, K-pop. And then they're hoping for a soft opening in February.
That sounds great. Yeah. And maybe we should do currently from the Korean barbecue communal space.
And try to cook our own.
Try to grill some meat. I will lose my mind. I can't do everything at once.
Sizzling in the background.
And then you'll be like, realistically, you know what happens. You will end up cooking everyone's meat on the table.
I probably will.
You will.
Yeah.
You carry the load.
I'm a little
everyone.
bit of a type A in our group of friends.
Everyone else will be like, is the food done? And Beth is like, making sure it's done and not, it actually done.
Yeah.
Not undercooked.
No one's going to die of food poisoning on my watch.
Love it. Anything else you want to mention for this retail and restaurant roundup?
Yeah, I think I'll mention just a few because there's so much happening downtown. Half the roundup is just about downtown. Kind of rapid fire. We just mentioned a couple closures. The retail store Fat Face has closed on Front Street. Brilliant Books is winding down its brick and mortar operations. So we had announced this a few weeks ago in the ticker. They have said now that they hope to be open through the end of October, but then the bookstore will be closing. So if you want to get your final in-person, book purchases done, they're also selling like some of the fixtures and bookshelves in the store. The brand itself will be continuing after the store closure. So they will have their website, their subscription service. And they said they're still going to be popping up like at occasional book fairs and things like that. It's hard to see for me anytime a bookstore closes. It's sad, but a lot of changes downtown. We also mentioned Pangea's Pizza is closed for a few months. They're just closed for renovations. They're doing a lot of work inside. They're also completely like redoing their rooftop.
Nice.
So they hope to be reopening in March or April. And then Traverse Bay Cafe, kind of further down the other side of East Front Street, which has been closed for a bit. It's a kind of Cuban-style eatery. It has a pretty devoted little following over there. Is coming under new ownership. So Ashley Flowers, I spoke to her. She hasn't not sharing many details yet, but she just noted that they're closed for improvements, but they will be sharing more details soon and reopening that restaurant.
Very cool. I do want to note too that one of our sponsors, the Coin Slot, is going to be doing. They are going to be renovating the inside restaurant space, which was used to be Two Sons Pizza, right?
And it's still Two Sons through the end of the year. So kind of the same thing. You can get your Two Sons fix through like the end of the year. And then they'll be moving out. Their lease is coming to an end, so they're moving out. And then Coin Slot will be taking over that space. I think more details to come, but Scott did tell me that they plan to do their own project in that space. And then the Super Cone, the ice cream,
love that place.
Which we ate a lot this summer.
100 times.
It's right around the corner.
Yeah, basically. It's right down here. And it was I play a lot of pinball, so I ate a lot of ice cream, and that's my justification. They have closed for the season, but Sabores y Colores, which is a really great Mexican food truck, is now posted up along with your full send ramen at the Coin Slot. So there's some options there. And I know Nick is a big Little Fleet fan. I often go when we have drinks with our friends. We go to Little Fleet, and this is going to be their final weekend for food trucks for the season. So if you want to get your food truck fix, you need to go this weekend.
Like right now. Yeah. Stop what you're doing and go to Little Fleet.
It's going to be nice. Weather, cooler, but nice.
That'll be great. All right. Well, thank you for that roundup. There's a lot of other things that we didn't have time to cover. So again, if you want to learn more, all you got to do is go to traversticker.com. It's right there. Best thing you can do, though, so you don't have to look for anything, is subscribe. It's super easy to do. traversticker.com. Hit subscribe. Give them, your email address, and you will get the stories right in your inbox.
For free. No paywall. No.
And you don't sell anybody's information.
Nope.
Not anymore.
Not that we say publicly. No, we don't.
You never have. No. She never has.
We never have, and we never will.
They never will. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Beth. And thank you to Nick Loud and Beth Milligan for yet another great show. Before we go, I have to ask what you guys are interested in this weekend. I mean, we like to do kind of a spotlight on the week, what you're like looking forward to. Beth, you're always 100 times more busy than I am. If I have something to talk about, it's usually rare, but I'm like, oh, I'm excited about this. I get to sleep, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you have some TC Dance Project stuff going on.
Yeah. I mean, so two things I'm doing this weekend. One is I'm going tonight, Friday night, to the Traverse City Comedy Club to see Bob Phillips, who has been here for the Comedy Festival before. He is great. So I'm excited to check that show out tonight. And then tomorrow, I will be going to the Northern Michigan Dance Festival. So this is the first weekend. It's put on by the Traverse City Dance Project, which does all kinds of cool dance events in Traverse City. But this festival is happening Friday, Saturday, Sunday this weekend at Milligan. They are bringing in world-class dancers from all over the world. The one that we're going to tomorrow night, Friday or Saturday night, will be repeated on Sunday for a matinee.
Yeah.
So I think there are tickets to both, either Saturday night or Sunday. They've got the Grand Rapids Ballet coming up. Charlie Millard, who is a fantastic musician here in town, will be performing, and it's a cool mix of dance and live music.
I love it.
And I'm really excited to check that out.
That's so cool. And Nick, you've got a lot going. I mean, aside from the incredible Frankfort Film Festival that's kicking off later this week, what else is going on?
Yeah, we'll be gearing up for that next week. But yeah, I wanted to give a plug. Also happening this weekend is the TC Design Week, which has been happening actually all this past week. But on Saturday, they're having their kind of final event. It's their TC Design Week exhibition and awards show.
Oh, cool.
Which will be at the Alluvion and Common Grounds. And that starts at 7. And there's... looks like a happy hour culinary design tasting from 6 to 7, and then the doors and bar open at 7. The show is at 7:30. It is ticketed, and it should be a really good kind of cap to the week. I know the people that have been putting it on, and I think they've been doing an amazing job at bringing in kind of different types of talks, and their theme is radical design, which I thought was really cool, and it's kind of how design has been, put to use in a way that has really made a difference in our daily lives.
Oh, that's really cool.
So,
yeah. Well, I love that. That sounds like a lot of fun. I actually have something this week that I'm really excited about. So everyone buckle up. This is huge. I'm super excited. I get to go see John Mulaney on Thursday.
Oh, boy.
It will be before next
you're
week
good friends.
tapes. I'm really good friends with John Mulaney. Okay. My husband and I are huge fans of John Mulaney. You are a huge fan of John Mulaney.
I have seen him, and he is fantastic live. He's so good.
We decided that we would, both get extra jobs so that we could get front row center tickets to the show at the Fox Theater in Detroit. And
Fox
so it's such a cool historic theater. I love that theater, and we're going to be front row center. And I have told my husband, if he looks at me and says something to me, I might actually die.
Yeah.
Because I don't usually get too starstruck with things, but with this guy, I think I would.
I saw him on Broadway with Nick Kroll and Oh Hello, and through a random fluke of circumstances we won't get into in the 5 seconds left of the show, but I end up in the front row, and there's a point where he passed out, and his arm was 2 feet from me, and I was like,
"Can I touch him?"
And I was like, I think I might get kicked out of the theater if I try to touch him. He's fantastic. You're gonna have a great time.
Oh, I'm so excited about this. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. So yeah, that's what we're all doing.
That's
Look
fun.
at us doing things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great art events coming up. It's cool.
You got to
I
support
know
the
you're
art.
Showing us up with John Mulaney.
But see, usually I'm just like, I'm excited about sleeping and putting up my Halloween decorations. And Beth is all, okay, Grandma.
Listen, I love your Halloween decorations.
And they are almost ready. I have 3 more skeletons put up where, it's a whole thing. But thank you both for being with us for another great show. We are going to be back next week. Be sure to subscribe to the show on all the platforms at crystalfrost.com. You can follow us on social media and subscribe to Currently with Crystal Frost wherever you get your podcasts. You can also watch the full show on YouTube and on Facebook. I recommend listening and watching. It's totally different both ways. Currently is a Compass Local podcast produced by Pancake Boy Productions. Big thanks to Old Town Playhouse, the Coin Slot Arcade Bar, and our lead supporter, West Shore Bank. We'll see you next week on Currently.